Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the House of Fun. This session is all about entertainment and interactivity. And what we're going to be discussing is really the interactivity is still in its infancy. Technology delivering entertainment by social media, crowdsourcing, social groups around new ways of playing games, consumers completely altering and owning games and bringing their own applications to them. But before we start, just a word about something the Chancellor forgot to mention, and it's a new Downing Street game. It's an app you can get. It's called Build Your Own Cabinet. And the idea is the government's going to have to respond to every suggestion for reforming the cabinet, and this week actually might be a very fertile time to do that. Anyway, in the time that it takes to hold this session, a 10-year-old will have devised a new online Lego game. Endemol will have dreamt up a new brand for online and on iPhone. A group from Bangalore to Brighton will have set up a new online restaurant on Playfish. And somebody will have subverted Damon Albarn's Gorillas project. So this is all about recognizing where the innovation is coming from, where the monetization is coming from. Who leads the way? Is it the brand? Is it the consumer? We're going to have, hopefully, an hour of fun. Who would have imagined Facebook 5 years ago? Great Fincher film, Social Network, really opened everybody's eyes to what was actually going on. But delighted, first of all, to have Jorgen Vig Knudstorp, who is the CEO of the LEGO Group. The thing you need to know about Jorgen is he has been CEO of LEGO for 7 years. But the most important thing is he has 4 children between the ages of 4 and 10. And probably that is his best source of ideas. So I hope he's paying them very, very well. Bear in mind that LEGO was started 80 years ago, 1931, right in the middle of a recession. And it was almost, I won't say dying on its feet, but it was certainly in need of rebooting. And Jorgen was the man who rebooted it. So how did you reboot it?
Well, I think there are 2 things when we talk about, forget about a turnaround, we just spoke about bailouts. I think you have to move from turnaround to transformation if you really want to reboot a company. And I think there are 2 things that are extremely important. One is you need to find out what's the essence of that brand. And by the way, it's not up to the management team to decide that. You need to speak to some of the people, in my case, the people who are outside the door who will showcase various Lego pieces. They are not on my pay list. They're Lego fans, they're Lego community. They define what Lego is all about. In our case, it's a creative building system, which there's no equal of in the world. And of course, I guess if you Google, it's all about search. But you have to stick to that essence and go deep into the essence instead of expanding what you're all about.
But what was the thing that was unique about Lego that was different from Meccano at the time, different from Playmobil? What is the Lego thing?
Well, the business idea is very simple. So this is me. Of course, you'll all be able to see that.
More hair.
A little bit younger, that's true, when I had lots more hair. But when you take Lego bricks apart, there are 7,000 pieces. They can all be built together. And when you put them together, they'll not fall apart. And yet you only have to be 2 years old to take them apart. And that means you work in a very structured, systematical fashion. At the same time, you can build anything you can imagine. So you work in a creative system which there's no equal of in the physical world. And getting back to the core of that was what it was all about.
I looked up the Lego website, and what it still has, which is extraordinary to me, is a kind of childlike quality. And yet it's not about children necessarily, is it? It's about adults as well.
It is about children of all ages. And I think the thing is that everybody wants to create something. You want to create a great experience for the audience in here today. Somebody's going to hand in a report to his boss today. He wants to create something that's his own. What Lego enables in children of all ages is to make something that's their own, to write rather than just to read.
So to write rather than to read. And the way that they write now is different, of course, because, of course, they have the online, they have the physical experience at home. But what is great is that they also do an enormous amount of subverting.
Yes. So if I can have the camera again, I'd like to just show one example of this. I think we're online in here. And let's see. We're here on YouTube, hopefully. And I'd like to show you a little video that's been created by a Lego person.
There must have been a Death Star canteen, yeah? There must have been a cafeteria downstairs, in between battles, where Darth Vader could just chill and go down. I will have the penne a la, yeah.
So tell us, this is essentially Eddie Izzard, yeah?
Yes.
So tell us what's happening.
So what's happening here is that a child has found an Eddie Izzard DVD, I presume, stolen the soundtrack, or an adult, built a Lego universe with Lego bricks, made a stop-motion video, and put it on YouTube. And you might say that's very innocent. I think we'll hear from the record industry a little bit later how innocent that actually is. But I can certainly say that from our IP protection, which is something we worry a lot about, is that we're of course quite happy with this, because this video has
advertising for Lego.
This video has now run in 15 million views in just this version, and several million views in other versions of that same video. So what's happening is that Google has told me that there's more than 750,000 Lego animated videos on YouTube. However, I only know of the Lego group putting less than 50 on. So the rest is user creativity, and that's happening within the game environment. It's obviously a bit more involved than what you see on a video, but it enables children of all ages to live the essence of the brand in a completely new way.
So they take ownership of it completely.
Yes.
But what I'm also interested in is how that you also adopt existing brands, most notably straight away Pirates of the Caribbean. Mm-hmm. And you make games around Pirates of the Caribbean. And what it seems extraordinary to me is that the people that are playing your Lego games, which seem very simple, are probably playing a lot of high-end games as well. So, children of all ages is what you're saying.
Yes, no, I think you can enter a lot of partnerships. One of the huge assets of our company is that we are family owned in the 4th generation through 80 years. I'm the 4th CEO in 80 years. And we've never made an acquisition.
What is it with you Scandinavians?
So
you just hang on to things.
But we've never made an acquisition, and I don't suggest that that's a generally good strategy for any company, but it means this is a company where the cultural fit, the ownership is practiced with enormous continuity. And that means when you meet Disney, when you meet Lucas, and you form partnerships, you can bring your essence to play. You can be uniquely Lego in that context, which is what appeals kids to play Pirates of the Caribbean or Lego Star Wars or something like that, because it's not just Star Wars, it's Lego Star Wars, as we saw in the video.
They were bringing you in because you had McKinsey training and you'd also Merlin training as well. And as you say, 4 owners and 4 CEOs in 80 years. So did you bring something to the table that they hadn't even imagined? I mean, be frank, were they old-fashioned?
Yes. But I think that's why I think sort of one thing is you have to do, people always say this, so how did you create the turnaround? My first answer is always, well, I didn't. It was a transformation. And the transformation has 2 parts. One, we spoke about the essence of, what you have to answer, why do you exist? What's your unique identity? And the scary part is very little. Right, why do companies exist? Most companies just do what everybody else is doing. So when you narrow that down to what you are uniquely doing and you want to be a global player, it's not an awful lot. And for me, it's putting pieces together better than anybody else. So that's one thing, sorry. The other thing is, how do you then transform your business system, your business model? Which is, people are saying, wow, you really changed the Lego brand. I'm saying, no. The only thing I've not changed is the essence of the Lego brand. We've come home to where we began. But I've changed everything else, or not I, but the company has. So how we do business, how we work with partners, how we do key account management, how we've gone digital, how we operate our supply chain. So all the rest of it. So you have to change all that to create the revitalization of the brand.
And how do you create the kind of social network around Lego? Because it's not just one-to-one, you do have groups.
Yes. Well, I have to admit that that's something we get an awful lot of credit for, and we can take absolutely no credit. The Lego community was there already. When I became CEO, very few people knew of Facebook, but there was something called LogNet, Lego User Group Online. They were exchanging ideas, and I was immediately quizzed. I was not a member of the family, I was a McKinsey man. Still, the fans of Lego, which there are millions of, and they're organized, of course, now through Facebook and other means, view me as merely the administrator of their company, their brand, their passion. I'm the McKinsey guy who tries to make sure it doesn't die. So this is something you cannot just, let's make a community. You have to have something that's authentic, that people are passionate about. Otherwise, the community is a marketing gimmick. And then you can, of course, make it today with the technologies available.
But who leads what? I mean, this is the thing. I mean, do your consumers, if a 10-year-old comes up with a fantastic Lego game that then goes online, do you pay them? I mean, what
No.
happens? You get all the upside.
One of the worst things you can do with a community of fans is to put them on the payroll, because they don't want to be on the payroll. Yes, they would like a free Lego set if they help out with something, but what they want is influence in what they're passionate about. They want to be listened to. So one of the things I do, for instance, when I get an email, and I do get quite a few emails from fans of Lego, I always answer personally. And my lawyers are all over me. No, you did not write that. You're right, we made a mistake in that set. The color is not brown as it should be. You're crazy, they're going to put it on YouTube. They've never done so far. So that's the trusting relationship.
And what about an idea that someone of whatever age has brought to you that you've then incorporated?
So one of the things we do is every week we have fans within our product development, and I'll just give a contrast between adults and kids. So we used an adult fan community for developing a generation of castles. They look very medieval, classical castle. And then we brought in the kids, and the kids said, well, that's all very nice, but where's the dragon? And the adults said, well, excuse me, kids, there were no dragons in the medieval ages. And then the kids just looked at me and said, so what's fun about that? And so that's the dialogue, not a single fan is right, but you get that, which is what I think IDEO would call design logic. You go through the experience through the eyes of the user instead of through the eyes of the company.
And what about unintended consequences? I mean, everything Lego, of course, the whole joy of Lego is that you can make whatever you want, but out there's some extraordinarily complicated things.
Yes. No, I think there's a lot of things that can go wrong. There are people who abuse your IP. We've certainly had people who made concentration camps, pictures of the Prophet Muhammad, put it on a Lego sign, etc. I've been getting letters from the Middle East saying, why are you sponsoring this, and so on. So there's a lot of things that can go wrong.
It's interesting you should say that there's a problem with the concentration camp, because in a sense, why would there be a problem with the concentration camp? Because it's simply what perhaps children want to imagine.
Well, the issue I saw was that people said, well, Lego obviously must have been involved in this. Lego is sort of promoting this. What's fun about a concentration camp? But see, the thing is that I think you can only do this sort of thing if you have a strong reputation, if you really have an honest dialogue with the stakeholders of the community. So it's a very delicate balance, but when you can establish that level of trust and genuine dialogue, you can get mostly very good things out of it.
Well, of course, this is a commercial group in here, but what's the next plan?
Yeah, I think the issue for my case is that we've now done a transformation. People are saying, well, that's great. So now you're on safe ground. Good luck and retire or whatever. But of course, transformation is always called for. Fundamentally, where I think Lego stumbled was we had not adopted to the trend of digitization, not to globalization, and not to the climate agenda that's facing us. And I see those as three huge adaptable challenges for the company, and I'm not sure how to answer them, so there's lots of work ahead.